How's it going, Guardians? Shifty here, and today I'm back with my weekly vendor video. I typically put these videos out on Tuesday and I go over any Banshee weapon rolls as well as any new decent armor rolls. Then at the end of the video I include footage of all the remaining armor and weapon rolls for the week. Now before I get started, if you end up enjoying the video, make sure to hit that like button. Also, if you want to see some guides, solo content, or more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel as well. Alright, so this week I'm going to start with any decent Banshee weapon rolls. Before I do that, I want to mention something that's incredibly important in regards to Banshee. Every Tuesday at reset, the weapons and perks will change. However, those weapon perks will change again at 6 PM Central Time on Wednesday. That means if you want any of the rolls you see in this video, you're going to have to get them before that time. However, that also means if the weapon rolls on Tuesday aren't very good, they may change for the better again on Wednesday. Anyway, the first weapon I want to talk about this week is the False Promises. I'm holding out hope that someday high impact frame auto rifles will get a buff. If they do end up getting a buff, this would be a very interesting role in PvP. The reason I say that is that anytime you pick up special ammo in PvP, this weapon would have a magazine size of 64. Then in addition to that, you have the Eye of the Storm perk, which is an excellent dueling perk for PvP. Eye of the Storm makes it so as your health gets lower, you get some decent stat benefits on the weapon. And not only that, in that first column you can choose between range or stability, and in that second column you can choose between faster reloads when your magazine is empty or faster reloads overall with a little bit of stability. Also, given the range stat on this and that overflow perk, this isn't a bad PvE role either, especially for barrier champions. So overall, this one does get a soft recommend from me. Now let's just hope that high impact frames get a buff in the future. I'd love to see them be part of the meta. The next weapon I want to talk about is the 7th Seraph VY7 submachine gun. Now if you didn't know, this weapon can generate Warmind cells, so it's important for a Warmind cell build. At first glance, this weapon roll doesn't seem all that great. You have Pulse Monitor and you have Dragonfly. Those two perks have never really been all that great. However, a week from today, Pulse Monitor is going to get a buff. Bungie is changing the threshold for activation from 90% health to 30% shield. So now instead of activating when you're almost dead, it will activate before your shield is even broken. And if you forgot what Pulse Monitor does, it will reload your weapon even if it's stowed, and you will also gain bonus handling. Then for Dragonfly, I mentioned that this can generate Warmind cells. Well, if you get a precision kill with this and generate a Warmind cell, that Dragonfly explosion can actually destroy that Warmind cell, proccing its effect. And the final weapon I want to talk about this week is the Wishbringer. I know there are a ton of shotguns with a much better role than this one, but I just wanted to point this one out because it has some pretty solid PvP perks. In that third column you have Threat Detector, which is actually a pretty solid perk on a shotgun since you'll often find yourself surrounded by enemies. You also have Snapshot Sights, which is going to make this weapon feel all that much better. Also, you have a mediocre to decent perk selection in those first two columns. And to top things off, it does have a range masterwork. So if you are a fan of rapid fire frames, this one might be worth picking up. However, you just need to be aware that there are plenty of other better shotguns for PvP. Alright, now I want to move on and talk about any standout armor rolls for each class. Now I do want to point out that the armor rolls this week are not all that great. I think with the beginning of Season of the Lost, Bungie changed how the stats are chosen on a lot of these vendor armor pieces. In previous seasons, we would often have armor rolls in the 60s and with spiky distributions. That hasn't really been the case this season, and oftentimes they're below 60 total stat. So with that in mind, most of my recommendations are going to be geared more towards newer players. Anyway, let's start with Warlocks. This week, Failsafe is selling a helmet with 26 discipline and 13 resilience. If you are a new player and you enjoy throwing grenades, that 26 discipline will get you a quarter of the way to tier 10 discipline. At tier 10 discipline, you have the fastest possible grenade cooldown. Then I have another piece I want to mention for Warlocks. It's a helmet sold by Shaxx. This has 19 recovery, 16 discipline, and 12 intellect. Recovery is important for all three classes as it's tied to how fast you heal. It's even more important for Warlocks because it controls how fast your rift cooldown is. Then you have 16 discipline, which is going to help with your grenade cooldown. And finally, that 12 intellect will help you get your super back a little bit quicker. Alright, for Titans this week, I only have an honorable mention, and again, this is probably going to be for newer players. Ada 1 is selling gauntlets with 19 recovery, 12 discipline, and 12 intellect. This is similar to that last piece for Warlocks. You have the 19 recovery for healing, 12 discipline for grenades, and 12 intellect for your super. You see the total stat is only 54, which is pretty bad, and that's why I only recommend this for new players who don't have anything better. Moving on to hunters, Zavala is selling leg armor with 26 discipline and 19 resilience. That 26 discipline again is going to help you get your grenade back faster if you're interested in that. Unfortunately, the 19 resilience isn't all that great for hunters. There are a few instances where resilience helps in PvP. Also, there are a couple of times where it may help you in something like a Grandmaster Nightfall. However, if you're planning to do Grandmaster Nightfalls, I would hope you have something better than this. And unfortunately, that's all I have for hunters. Like I said, the armor this week wasn't all that great. And that brings us to the end of the video. If you did end up enjoying it, remember to like and subscribe. Now, I am going to show off footage of the remaining armor and weapon rolls for the week if you want to check that out. Otherwise, I hope that you have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next one.